Now that you've got a good sense of your current skill levels and your level of comfort with your overall process, what we will look at now is how you can continue building your skills and refining your process moving forward. Let's get into it. The step that you are now ready to make is a step outside of the classroom. This video is primarily about taking your skills out of the classroom and moving them into the real world. As you take those steps, I want to remind you of 3 of the core ideas of the verbal to visual mindset that will be most helpful as you make a plan for continual growth. The first is the idea of using your goal as a compass. This idea is just as important now as it was at the beginning of this course. I encourage you to let your future development be guided by your long-term goals and your applied experiences. Your experiences help to clarify where you currently are, and your goals tell you which direction to go from here. We will dig into those applied experiences in a second. First, I want to mention 2 other key mindsets. As you continue building, remember to play the long game. When you have a long-term view of your work, it makes it easier to focus on improving over time, getting a little bit better each day, even when you feel like your goal is so far off in the distance that you'll never get there. You will be surprised at how far small daily steps can take you. The last mindset component that I'd like to highlight here is the 50-50 rule, which states that becoming a proficient visual note taker is 50% about your current skill level and 50% about the constraints that you set up for yourself. That means that you have 2 ways of improving. You can build your skills and you can refine your visual note-taking process. You'll likely continue doing both of those things, so let's look at how you can do that. Let's focus in on how you can use your applied experiences to guide your future development. All it takes is following this simple cycle. It begins with a real-world application. This is when you are applying your skills while taking notes at a conference or in a meeting, or problem solving at work, or building and giving a visual presentation in front of others. This is the real work that moves you toward your goal. After one of those experiences, you can look back at how it went to identify areas that you'd like to improve on. And having identified those areas, you can follow that up with some intentional practice to improve in those particular ways. That practice could be focused on individual skills or on the combination of many skills via your visual note-taking process. You might find that your process needs tweaking after you've put it into use in the real world. It's worth noting here that you might have multiple applications of these visual note-taking skills that you're developing. You will be able to follow this cycle for each of those applications independently. For example, you might have a personal study plan set up, and you use visual notes to capture what you're learning. That will get its own process that you can refine and iterate on over time. You might also do some one-on-one collaboration at work, which would require a different set of skills and a different process because of the contextual differences between personal study and one-on-one collaboration. On top of that, maybe you also give presentations on a regular basis and are building more visuals into your presentation style. That is yet another set of skills and a unique process compared to the prior 2. For each of those, you can continually improve by following the cycle of application and practice. With each iteration of that cycle, you'll gain a better understanding of what is needed for that particular application, and you'll improve your ability to meet those needs. The last thing that I'd like to mention here is a reminder of an idea that we first saw at the end of part 1. The idea of mapping your materials to your process. Make sure that there is good alignment between the materials you use, what you write with and what you write on, and your visual note-taking process. how you are combining text, layout, imagery, and color. As you go through that cycle of application and practice, be on the lookout for places where a different tool or a tweak in your process might lead to better overall alignment. Because the more smoothly your materials map to your process, the better chance you have of achieving a state of flow with your work. The set of ideas that you see on this page will help you to build and maintain your momentum as a visual note taker. To help you put these ideas into practice, I have created some resources that you'll find below this video that will help you to carry out that cycle, to reflect on each experience and then build your skills in the appropriate way. So take a look at those resources and put them to use before checking out the next lesson.